Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of You and the Economy. My name is Chinemerem Joseph. It is globally acknowledged that small and medium enterprises, SMEs, are key drivers of economic growth and development. Indeed, small businesses are known to play a primary role in economic growth with their inherent ability to boost economic output and improve the quality of human life. It is in recognition of the contributions of small businesses to economic development that the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, in conjunction with the Bankers Committee, floated the Agri-Business Small and Medium Enterprise Investment Scheme, AGSMEIS. The Bankers Committee is an exclusive platform for the chief executives of Nigerian banks and the departmental directors of the CBN. The CBN and Bankers Committee AGSMEIS initiative is our focus on today's edition of You and the Economy. This is in line with our pledge in the maiden episode of the program to adopt You and the Economy as a veritable platform to acquaint you with the critical information that you need to know about the policies of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and how they affect and impact you and your business. It's now time for you to get better acquainted with the Agribusiness Small and Medium Enterprise Investment Scheme. Happy viewing.
We decided to come up with this initiative because we feel that it's one way the weak and those who are vulnerable, those who under normal circumstances will not be able to knock at the door of a bank for a bank loan can access loan.
AGSMEIS is one of our flagship products as a central bank. Since inception, the scheme has done very well.
The Agribusiness / Small and Medium Enterprise Investment Scheme, AGSMEIS, is an initiative to support the federal government's efforts and policy measures for the promotion of agricultural businesses as well as small and medium enterprises as vehicles for sustainable economic development and employment generation in Nigeria. AGSMEIS is an initiative of the Bankers Committee approved at the committee's 331st meeting held on February 9, 2017. The scheme requires all deposit money banks, commonly referred to as commercial banks, operating in the country to set aside 5% of their profit after tax annually to fund the initiative. NIRSAL Microfinance Bank, a subsidiary of the Nigeria Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, itself a non-bank financial institution wholly owned by the CBN, is tasked with implementing the scheme. The objectives of the AGSMEIS loan are to improve access to affordable and sustainable finance by agribusiness and micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, generate the much-needed employment opportunities in the country, develop agricultural value chain and ensure sustainable agricultural practices, and boost the managerial capacity of agribusiness / SMEs as outlets of growing enterprises that can become huge corporate organizations. But then, what are the eligibility criteria for this intervention scheme? To subscribe to AGSMEIS, the intending participants must meet the following conditions. They must be citizens of Nigeria. They should own an already existing SME business. applicants must have completed their training at a CBN-recognized Entrepreneurship Development Institution, EDI, where participants are taken through the rudiments of running a business successfully. Such applicants must also provide authentic proof of having attended a CBN-certified EDI. Existing businesses that intend to apply for the facility should be registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission or should have a certificate of incorporation. The applicants should have a bank verification number, otherwise known as BVN, for easy verification by CBN. After meeting the eligibility conditions, intending beneficiaries are required to apply for loans through the same platform on which they were trained, a CBN accredited entrepreneurship development institution. The applications of the intending subscribers will then be sent by the EDI to the CBN through NIRSAL MFB for processing. Afterwards, the applicants will be invited for an interview in respect of the business they intend to set up. Applicants who meet all requirements will be contacted, and thereafter they shall receive the loan by way of credit paid into their bank accounts directly.
As an entrepreneur, don't force any product on your customers.
For small businesses and also for individuals entrepreneurs who want to go into one form of activity or another, it's one thing to be able to give them the credit, but knowing how to deploy that credit is another thing. And part of the guidelines for the AGSMEIS, that the Bankers Committee and the Central Bank released is that we needed to ensure that our citizens and our small businesses are empowered with some form of entrepreneurship training or the other. So we felt that we needed to, put some form of entrepreneurship training in place, teach them how to, manage their books, how to also run their businesses, best practices, how to bank and how to win customers. So that's the requirement, for accessing that fund, so that once you get the credit, you can hit the ground running. And that has largely contributed to the success of the AGSMEIS. Hitherto, so many other entrepreneurship programs have been, rolled out by both the fiscal and the monetary authority. But what was lacking and what made a lot of them not to succeed or to be effective is around the fact that we did not, provide effective training to the end beneficiaries. And at the end of the day, the credit went bad, or if it was a grant, the money was lost. So the EDIs are a key factor in the AGSMEIS program. We have over 200 EDCs, and they're accessible. They're listed on the National Microfinance Bank website, which is the primary disbursing agency for the AGSMEIS loan. And then we'll look at how we can also put them on the Central Bank website if they're not there. Every state capital has a multiplicity of the EDIs. We'll continue to certify more so that we can get them closer to the people.
How will you know if you are making profits? Is by you.
Success Ekwomosa, seen here while attending a pre-application training program of an EDI to enable him participate in the AGSMEIS initiative, describes the training prerequisite as necessary and commendable.
It's like a grooming stage for them to know how to manage their businesses, get exposure to where necessary informations are on how to access this fund, and then get a guidance on how to apply for this fund, and also to learn how to keep records in starting a business. As a startup, you need to have the sense and the art of keeping good records so that you'll be able to trace the progression of your business. So in totality, the training, it's good, it's laudable, and I think it's something that is worth doing, and then it should stick to it as one of the prerequisites for giving such facility.
The duration for the application is what you've asked. Typically, when the fund is available, it typically takes less than 3 weeks from when you do it and you meet the requirement. Why there's so many complaints is that a lot of people go and apply even before doing the entrepreneurship training. So that's what delays the application. But if you've completed all the requirements, you have a good credit check, your BVN is valid, you typically will take maximum of 21 days. And where our citizens do have met all these requirements and they've applied, they've not heard, they can as well talk to the NMFB And if they're not satisfied, they can email dfd@cbn.gov.ng, to lodge a complaint, and then we'll follow up.
Based on an appraisal of its key performance indicators so far, AGSMEIS has fared well in the realization of its objectives. Between April 2018, when disbursements were formally flagged off in the implementation of the scheme, through March 2021, the sum of 111.62 billion naira had been disbursed under the AGSMEIS. Also, whereas the scheme had just 300 beneficiaries at takeoff in April 2018, its subscriber base has shot up to a staggering 28,961 by March 2021. And notably, as high as 70% of those subscribers were in the agricultural sector of the economy. Some beneficiaries of AGSMEIS in the agricultural sector now speak on how it has impacted their fortunes, particularly in the face of the devastating impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on the economy generally.
Impacted positively on my business, ranging from improve in cash flow, job creation, revenue, payment of revenue to the government. In fact, due to this intervention, empowerment program, I've employed 5 staff: the manager, the doctor, 2 farm attendants, and the security man who does the cleaning at the same time.
As clearly conveyed by the full meaning of the acronym AGSMEIS, the audiences targeted by the scheme are not limited to players in the agricultural sector alone. Non-agric small and medium enterprises are also targets of the scheme. Some subscribers in the non-agric SME category also speak on how the scheme impacted their operations.
Prior to the AGSMEIS loan, I was just on manual cutting machine, which is a lot of stress, so hectic. But now I'm into new technology now. I can produce and cut and seal like 20 bags in a day.
SMEs in the hospitality and tourism industry have equally felt the rejuvenating impact of AGSMEIS.
The AGSMEIS loan has actually given me an opportunity to expand and also do the things I love doing, like cooking, baking, and other things. So I appreciate the loan, and I'm a beneficiary, and I'm grateful to the government for making such provision for us.
It has really made me feel courageous to pursue my dreams and employ more people under me, to see that some people are also getting the means of living through me.
The vocation and artisan sector is yet another crucial arm of the economy that has benefited tremendously from the implementation of AGSMEIS. For example, proprietors of several printing presses have been able to expand their businesses and make more significant contributions to employment and income generation for the economy with support from the Intervention Fund.
The fund has had tremendous impact on my business, because as you can see right now, the machines behind me were acquired by these funds, and some other things in the graphics section, and even the power surge we are using to operate. This has changed the level and the platform of this business, because without this machine, we cannot be able to work effectively.
People nata ego na uno ọrụ ndị CBN. Au moto ka nna anyị, ụgbọala ka nna akpọ. It's a taxi driver. So we weta ego CBN, we weta wari andum. Na puzie eko ụgbọala, we na akpọ. So ebe anyị nọ now. Ego a ndị CBN nyere m, enyego maka rie nne. Maka ịma na ịnya ụgbọala bụ taxi, ọ dịrọ mfe. Na CBN emego ndụ m wee dị mfe. A na-ebizi ndụ ka mmadụ si ebi ndụ. Tupu ụgwọ skuul eruo, ana m akwụcharị ụgwọ skuul before go school.
In recent decades, the fashion design and textiles sector has proven a strong employment generation center for the Nigerian economy. This is especially so because in man's hierarchy of needs, clothing is only next to shelter and food. And with a potential 200 million people to clothe, the fashion design and textile sector has rightly attracted focus and attention of AGSMEIS due to its huge capacity for employment generation, especially for millions of youth job seekers in the country.
It was approved for me, for my business to expand and get some equipment I really needed for the business.
From the loan, I get this machine. It's a finisher. It does bungee holes. I got these ones and I expand my business. Before now, I used to wait for customers to bring clothes for me to sew and pick. But now I was able to get some fabrics and start my own ready-to-wear.
And it actually it helped a lot for the post-COVID backup funds, and it really helped us as a company. It helped us to get back on our feet and get back out there. It just felt good that the government was able to look out for us in that way, and it wasn't really stressful at all. It felt good to know that the government really cared about some of us.
Assessing AGSMEIS, Abubakar Kure, Managing Director of NIRSAL Microfinance Bank, says its performance has not only been quite impressive, the scheme has also had far-reaching multiplier effects on the Nigerian economy.
AGSMEIS have fared well. In terms of employment generation, it has fared well. In terms of poverty reduction, that we have tried, and the multiplier effect on the economy too. Because AGSMEIS is meant for SME purely. Because as I'm speaking to you now, we have done over 100 billion on AGSMEIS, and the multiplier effect is huge because I saw some of the SMEs are even paying taxes, which is good. And the government will get resources from that to also improve our infrastructure, beyond the fact that it has enabled us to create employment.
The AGSMEIS has contributed to national development, especially in the aspect of job creation. There's good representation across the 6 geopolitical zones for those who have accessed the facility. And indeed, we can see and track as the central bank the amount of jobs that has been created. We assess based on the models that we've built, in excess of over 100,000 jobs have been created with the AGSMEIS. Post-COVID, quite a lot of our citizens, left their jobs, those who were in formal employment, and so many businesses struggled. What we did as a central bank is to ramp up the disbursement of AGSMEIS. So those who've left blue-collar employments can really begin to start, SME-type business, either into food processing, making yogurts and all that, or into fashion tailoring. We quickly ramped up AGSMEIS and got a lot of people who had left formal employment to begin to do something. So AGSMEIS has contributed significantly. And if you look at the numbers, when we came out of the recession, a part of that growth that you saw was the output of typically those who were involved in AGSMEIS. So significantly, AGSMEIS has contributed to output and national development.
Monday Ewans is the Director, Enterprise Development and Promotion, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN. SMEDAN is one of the CBN certified entrepreneurship development institutions saddled with training intending applicants for the AGSMEIS and also with assisting in processing the applications. Evans says AGSMEIS has fared well.
I will give the scheme a pass mark because at least they've been able to attend to the lack of asset challenge, access to finance challenge to a lot of small businesses. We keep telling people that this is a credible project by the government through central bank. So people should key in. It's not expensive. The training is just 10,000, and then you pay about 3,000 to prepare a business plan, and then you upload it, and then you get the money after due process interview and so on.
As the April 2018 formal launch date of AGSMEIS clearly indicates, the intervention scheme predates COVID-19 and was not introduced in response to the pandemic. However, fears are being expressed by some stakeholders and observers that the scheme may run into a devastating storm that could scuttle its smooth implementation, if not drown it completely. These fears are stoked by the clear and present possibility that the adverse impact of COVID-19 will affect the ability of many beneficiaries of AGSMEIS to repay their loans, and for no fault of theirs too. Abubakar Kure, Managing Director of NMFB, however, allays such fears. He says while forbearance is being granted to loan beneficiaries who are in distress and are incapable of servicing their obligations as at when due, no thanks to COVID-19, this will not translate to writing up such loans, as according to him, they were never meant to be grants.
Central bank have always have that proactive thinking around that COVID impact will affect cash flow, will affect business, because it has disrupted virtually all value chain in our society. So they came out with a policy, what they call forbearance. Initially, it's supposed to be 1 year moratorium. You know that you have 1 year holiday without paying the loan. So because the COVID persisted, they extended it to second year. That second year is, however, on need basis. If you need it by the second year, you also have moratorium. That means you will not be paying your loan 2 years. You are giving freedom without paying the loan. Go and use the money. After 2 years, or after 1 year, if you feel that you need more extension, we'll look at it on need basis. The second year too can give you assessment. However, I must say you must pay back because it's a loan. If you don't pay back, you have what they call global standing instruction. That BVN serves to some extent as a collateral. So if you don't pay back, we'll activate global standing instruction using your BVN, irrespective of why you have money in the banking system. Once you default after those moratorium mentioned, we'll debit your account in other banks and credit enemy account at default. So I urge people to pay back because it's a soft loan. You can't get this type of loan anywhere.
Although the AGSMEIS was introduced before the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, there is no doubt that the scheme has performed very well in complementing the other intervention measures inaugurated by the CBN to cushion the adverse impact of the pandemic on the Nigerian economy. As the number of subscribers continues to increase exponentially, the impact of the intervention scheme shall continue to resonate positively within the targeted sectors of the economy and drive growth and development for a better Nigeria.
I'm encouraging other entrepreneurs to come out and took the same step I take for them to get this. It's reality. It's not a prank. It's not a fake. Government is doing it. It's reality.
My advice is that if you really want to do this, go get it, because I don't know anybody that knows anybody, and it was successful for me. It has really helped me. I think it will help you too.
I think the future is bright because it's a program that has come to stay. Like I said, it's a well-established program. As our banks continue to do well, you continue to have funding in that pot. We'll continue to be creative and also look at how we can, fund it. Either using matching funds, not only the bankers committee, but look at other sources of funds that we can, put in there to ensure that we continuously increase the pot that is drawn from, and then a lot of beneficiaries, get it and contribute, to national output.
I urge them to use it well. Acquire assets that are generating income. People shouldn't use this money to go and be buying cars, buy phone that you can't pay back, or even go and marry or give it to your girlfriend, or even build a house. It's meant for, if you build a house for rent, fine. Or if you buy a motorcycle or a car for generating income, either you use it for cab or whatever, fine. But if you go and buy big clothes, big watch, and give it to your girlfriends, honestly, it's not wise. So I will advise, it's not good to say you have a loan, you are defaulted, because you can't go back to the industry again tomorrow. It's better you have a loan, you are paid. Your credit rating will be high. So if you pay back, we are willing also, for those who pay back, we are willing to grant them more loans as an incentive for paying back.
As you have seen, participation in the training program of an Entrepreneurship Development Institution, EDI, is compulsory to access the Agribusiness Small and Medium Enterprises Investment Scheme of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Not only is eligibility tied to attending the training program of an EDI, the processing of applications for funds also assigns a very crucial role to EDIs, as loan applications cannot be processed except they pass through the training institutions. It is therefore important for intending beneficiaries of the scheme to identify the nearest CBN's certified EDI, register with them, and attend their training programs so they can access the intervention funds of the AGSMEIS. Now, for more information on the AGSMEIS initiative or any other CBN intervention program, please log on to the CBN website www.cbn.gov.ng or call the CBN Contact Center on 0700 225 5226. And with that, we've come to the end of this week's edition of You and the Economy. Please join us again next week when we throw light on yet another very crucial CBN intervention initiative. Until then, it's me, your program anchor, Chinemerem Joseph, wishing you goodbye.